Hi guys, Jen here. This is a video that was actually requested. I ask for your patience. If you hear some kissy noises, Sammy is sitting here finishing up a biscuit. This video was requested, and I'm going to be very careful to use proper AMA formatting, which means I will cite my sources, and they are sources pulled direct from Google and YouTube themselves. So if they decide they want to censor this video, they are going to have to censor the sources, which are and is Google, their own platform. So having said that and gotten that out of the way, let's do a little etymology, shall we? Protein. Anyone who took 9th grade science class should remember what are proteins? The building blocks of life. The word was coined in 1838 by Dutch chemist Gerard Johan Mulder, perhaps on suggestion of Berzelius, from Greek proteos, the first quality, from protos, first. Originally a theoretical substance thought to be essential to life. Further studies of the substances he was working with overthrew this, but the words protein and proteid continued to be used in international work on the matter and also for other organic compounds. The modern use as a general name for a class of bodies arose in German. The confusion became so great, a committee was set up in 1907 to sort out the nomenclature, which it did, giving protein its modern meaning and banishing proteid. So they were even some infighting regarding if they were in fact the building blocks, because things that you cannot see and that you cannot reproduce are not true science. They are theories. Once you can repeat it and reproduce it, then it moves from theory to fact, which is true science, which is observable and repeatable. For example, the word theory of evolution is taught as though it's fact, but it is still referred to as theory because it is not repeatable. Okay? Possibly because our lifetimes are too short, possibly because it's still a theory. And I hope you understand that the word usage I'm using is by very specific choice. Protein, a noun, any of a large group of nitrogenous organic compounds that are essential constituents of living cells. That word has been thrown around a lot the last couple years too. Essential and non-essential. Again, I told you that the only agenda that mattered is the anti-human agenda. You see it everywhere with euthanasia, genocide, abortion. These are all anti-life, and protein is an essential part of life. It is what they try to observe in our cells, in the workings of our cells. It says it consists of polymers of amino acids essential in the diet of animals for growth and for repair of tissues. Can be obtained from meat and eggs and milk and legumes. Interesting that a lot of us are foregoing the meat, but you can also get these from, beans. Beans are a good substitute for that. It is a theory that you get what you get from meat because that is what that animal ate. Okay, so we have a few proto, meaning forward or by extension, "-ine", which is the last part of the word, which is the suffix, protease from 1903, protein plus "-ese", and then the one that I wanted, first, source, parent, preceding, and earliest, which I find is very telling. Now, again, I was asked to do this video, and I already had this information pulled up because it's included in another video. And again, we're doing some study here, a word study, and we're trying to understand the science that is being relayed to us. So I'm doing my best to relay this in layman terms from the information that is readily available within Google and their own search engine. Spike proteins, also known as peplomers, are the knob-like structures generally composed of glycoproteins projecting from the lipid bilayer of surface of an enveloped virus. Okay, so that's what a spike protein is. Okay, it is another kind of protein, and I would beg to say that it is different, and it is not organic in the human body. Okay, that is my assessment and my speculation, and pretty much every video on YouTube that doesn't use sources is speculative, right? That's the best we can do in this world to try and understand things that are being told to us. Now, again, I'm going to cover, you can read the title here. This was published in May 4th of 2002. Scientists' deaths are under the microscope. It's a tale only the best conspiracy theorists could dream up. 11 microbiologists mysteriously dead over the span of just 5 months. And there are a lot of respiratory therapists as well, and holistic doctors as well on that list, and also on the list of missing 411, which takes a lot of cross-referencing because there are no subtopics when you search for missing people and then you try to search for them by profession. It is virtually impossible, or at least there is a lot to dig through. That is why I never ask for donations for the Word of God. It's just the time that it takes to research the physical manifestations that are happening. Now, here, somebody that passed away, his daughter is admittedly a priestess, a Wiccan priestess. And most Wiccans, their main tenet is to harm none. So I want to get that out there so that I'm speaking to every voice here. But I just found it interesting that one of these men was found murdered in his country estate in the country here in my tri-state area. And he worked on, quote, doomsday plagues of HIV, Ebola, and influenza. Okay? One fell off a bridge, and then this other gentleman, let's see. Yeah, several of them were stabbed and slashed with what police believe was a sword. In his farmhouse in Leesburg, Virginia, his daughter, who identifies herself as a pagan high priestess, and several of her fellow pagans were charged. So, again, that's not a voice that is to all Wiccans. Their main tenet is usually to harm none. Now this, you can see here, again, I got this right from Google. It's called DocsBay. You can find it. If it was registered with DocsBay, you can find it. So we have this from what's called Awoken Research Group. One word, AWOKEN. So we have again manifesting itself years before that terminology was being used about being quote unquote woke. This was put out in 2006, and it begins, and I quote, "While some of these deaths may be purely coincidental, it seems to pose no connection. Many of these deaths are highly suspicious and appear not to be random acts of violence, and many are just plain murders." So again, it is left up to speculation as to whether or not these deaths were related in some type of way. Okay? And if you read through this, and again, I will include proper citations, you will see that a lot of them passed in the same manner, the same MO. You know, if it works for them the first time, murderers, criminals, then they have no problem doing this again. And again, you see a lot of terminology kind of manifesting itself over and over and over again. Remember what I just said about that? And we'll move here. If you missed the original video, this is where programmed cell death has been called apostasis, from the Greek word meaning falling off. Okay? So here again, we have a biblical reference meaning apostate, to fall away, to fall off, which is actually how they're referring to the expiration date, basically, of a cell, of its death date, which is also manifested in the series Manifest. Okay? So again, we have all these things working together. And the last thing I'm going to show you is a part of a video, which I will leave the link for. It is still up on YouTube many years later, 11 years later. And you can see the title here, Scientist Deaths. And it says what kind of scientists they were. You can clearly read that. These were protein scientists and engineers. Let's listen to a small excerpt, and then I want to get this video out to you. And again, if they censor this video, they will have to censor their own platforms. And I will be using proper citations. This video, as of today, the 13th of July, 2021, this video is still up.
Officials there. According to this article, on November 3rd, the head of the State Inspector for Quality Control in Odessa was leaving his office and was attacked by 3 to 4 men wearing masks. They stabbed him. He was only able to escape because he had a gun, shot at him, got away, survived. But what's interesting here is that according to this list of dead scientists that have died in mysterious ways in the past few years, many of them have been stabbed multiple times. So this proves to be the MO of the Illuminati for scientists that they want to kill. And most of these that they killed happen to be protein specialists for infectious diseases.